What's up, guys? MVP Scheer 123R88 here. Want to give you my first ever Raw review. I want to make this kind of quick. I don't want to make these things long-winded, but after a great string of Raws, where it seemed like something at least interesting happened on each of them, we get a Raw where I feel like they didn't really accomplish anything until like the last 5 minutes of the show. And honestly, that's sad because honestly, the WWE's been putting on pretty good television up until now. I really didn't enjoy this Raw. I didn't really think it led anywhere. I don't even think the writers kind of knew where they were going with this the whole night. It kind of seemed like it was just kind of scrambled and put together at the end. But let's go through it. Triple H comes out there, cuts a promo about how he didn't know that Kevin Nash was gonna come out and powerbomb CM Punk, and how he's sorry to John Cena. He's gonna go actually apologize to John Cena for Cena's flipping on the rope. Allowing Punk to win in the first place. This was okay. I kind of seemed like it was a little short for what it needed to be. But, he introduced us into Alberto Del Rio's promo, which I think was great. One of the highlights of the night. Del Rio playing a great, heelish, cowardly heel that just kind of not big enough necessarily for the main event, but he won because he had, the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think that's the kind of character he's trying to portray right now. As evidenced later in the show. But he cuts a great promo, getting the crowd hot for his match later against Mysterio for the undisputed WWE Championship. Saying, "Oh, I love Rey Mysterio. Oh, my favorite thing is beating him. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what am I gonna do today? Oh, why don't I just go beat Rey Mysterio again?" I thought that was great. I thought that whole segment was really good. I mean, at least the Del Rio part, the Triple H part was okay. I think we need to talk more. Triple H said Kevin Nash can be out there late, later on the night if he's allowed to be honest, if he's allowed to tell the truth. So. We get to that later. The first match we have is Falls Count Anywhere, R-Truth versus John Morrison. This was really good stuff. This reminded me of the Attitude Era, just crazy and chaotic. I want more of this. I like more of this. That's all I gotta say about that. Goes to commercial, comes back. Miz cuts a promo on, Jared from Subway and says he can market Subway better than him. And then says, she's gonna win the title again because he's the Miz and he's awesome. This was complete crap. This was terrible. I really didn't like this at all. There was really no point in this. I don't get why you cut a promo on the Jared from Subway guy. Are they setting up for a feud? I just think this was really stupid. Don't want to talk much about it. Kevin Nash arrives, in his limo. So, they're heating up for that confrontation. Kelly and Eve versus the Bellas. This was actually pretty good. The match wasn't great, but at least it was a story. It wasn't a 7-on-7 match. It was just a regular tag match between something that makes sense. The Bellas, Brie Bella lost title to Kelly. So now, Brie Bella wants revenge on Kelly. She's going to bring her sister in it. Eve's going to get involved. They have a tag match. Obviously, that's not the angle they're going with now. But this match, in a sense, made sense from past angles. So I actually liked this. Then Beth Phoenix and Natalya come out there, and, they're all clapping fakely. They're like, "Oh, good job, good job." So I'm actually excited for the first time for a storyline for women in WWE. So I think this is a good idea. I think this, in my 2 videos ago I talked about the women's division. I think this is a good way to bring it back. And Kelly, maybe she's been impressive. She's been impressive on SummerSlam. She's been impressive here. These are 2 women's matches I'm actually impressed with. Good job, WWE. Kevin Nash promo. He comes out there, says did what he did. Someone texted him, told him to do it. Blah blah blah. Punk comes out there, saves the promo because Kevin Nash part of it was terrible. They go back and forth at it. Punk tells Kevin Nash, jumping off the bridge would have been good for business, but this wasn't good for business. Kevin Nash tells him he should shut his mouth. Punk says he doesn't know who to trust. Either Triple H or Kevin Nash. Because one of them has to be lying. Kevin Nash is like, "Oh, I'll show you the text message myself." And CM Punk's like, "Oh, I'll show you a text message from my sister Shalene. Reads right here. OMG. Kevin Nash, WTF, thought he was dead, LOL. Hilarious. That I busted up laughing. I was cracking up laughing to that. That was just a great line. Punk continues to impress on the mic as always. Great promo here. He talks about Nash's career being dead, and then Nash kind of messes up, calls him the indie-rific wannabe, but he kind of stumbles over his lines and kind of tries to save himself later, but he just says more stupidness. And CM Punk's just laughing at this point. And, CM Punk's like, "What do you know? You called Eddie Guerrero a vanilla midget. It's not 1994. It's 2011. And, main event stars are a different breed now. And Kevin Nash is like, oh well, when in 1996 when I went WCW, it was me and Scott Hall, we revolutionized wrestling. We revolutionized the company. We're the reason you get paychecks now. You get guaranteed contracts. We're the reason of that. You're an Waffle House. You're a Waffle House employee, you're a Waffle House cook or whatever, and you need to take a shower. It's like, what is he even talking about here? And Punk just kind of blows it off and says, he's not good for business, or what he did wasn't good for business. What Kevin Nash did wasn't good for the business of WWE. And he's like, I'd rather be come in as CM Punk and leave as CM Punk than come in as Oz and be Big Daddy Cool Diesel and change my gimmick over and over again basically. And he says if Nash wants to fight, Punk's willing to fight right now, which made Punk look like a badass motherfucker in the outcast. He looked like a hard ass here, like he was ready to take on big sexy Kevin Nash, like 7-foot tall guy that just jackknife power on people. The only problem with the whole thing is Kevin Nash comes off looking like a pussy because he has an entire security guard. Kevin Nash does not need a security team for CM Punk. CM Punk is not the biggest guy in the world. Kevin Nash is huge. This part was kind of stupid to me because I just felt like that's not how it looked like CM Punk should be the one that's scared. I guess CM Punk's angry, so he's mad. He wants to fight Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash should not be scared of CM Punk. But anyways, Punk's like, oh well, obviously if all the security's out here, then that means nobody's going to guard Triple H, and I'm gonna go talk to him about all this and see who's lying to me. Move on to Riley and Swagger, which was more honestly about Dolph Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero kind of breaking up as a manager and wrestling team. Maybe not breaking up, but they were fighting the whole time, and Dolph was like, I'd be where I was at without Vicky Guerrero. And Vicky Guerrero goes and grabs the cowboy hat and gets on the ring and distracts the ref, and Jack Swagger wins because of it. So Vicky Guerrero showing that and then Michael Cole even said Jack Swagger hasn't won in more than a month. So it gets the point across that Vicky Guerrero's a good manager, and actually after the commercial break, Swagger comes and thanks Guerrero and says, hey you're great looking. You're a great manager. All the great managers from before, Classic Freddie Blassie, all the, I think he mentioned Jimmy Hart in there too. He said, if, all those people had more than one, person they were sponsoring, basically, more than one person they were out there managing and helping, maybe you need to expand your roster. So I think they're leading to a Jack Swagger Guerrero, little thing with, maybe Swagger being Guerrero's new love interest and, being his manager and all that stuff. And so, we move on. The next match, Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne versus David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy. Jerry Lawler said it perfectly about David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy. He says, I am just waiting for these guys to do something big, to do something special. And I completely agree. I'm waiting for that. They have a good look. They really look like they could be main event guys, especially Otunga. They have a great look when they come out. They have a bunch of charisma when they come out. It's great. When they get in the ring, they're not the best wrestlers in the ring. They have to work on that. But I'm glad they're actually incorporating at least one double team move in their arsenal. That's better than most tag teams that get together. I should say makeshift tag teams. But I'm waiting for them to do something big with the belts. I've had the belts for I think 88 days now. I think it's that. There's an article in 401 that keeps track of it, and I'm pretty sure that's how long they've had the titles now for. If you count it in today's day. So, but Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne win the match, so I think they're set up for something there. They obviously have to set up for Night of Champions, so they obviously have to have a match there. They have to have a tag title match on that show. Maybe they'll revitalize tag division, possibly not, but oh well. I mean, it is what it is, and now I got something in my eye. That's just wonderful. Last match, though, undisputed title, WWE title, Alberto Del Rio and Rey Mysterio. This was, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good, actually. But the fact of the matter with this whole thing is, they made it like it was going to be, Rey Mysterio's hometown. It's going to be as big as CM Punk having his match in his hometown. And it really wasn't. There wasn't as much emotion there. Yeah, the crowd was really hot for Mysterio, but they weren't white hot like they were, and that. They weren't white hot like they were in Chicago for CM Punk. I mean, maybe it's because, they don't think, obviously, Rey Mysterio's not leaving. But it's kind of like, I thought this could have been a special moment, and it wasn't necessarily. I really thought Mysterio was going to win, honestly, with the splash, but Del Rio got his knees up. and then pins him. And then afterwards, he pulls his arm over underneath, the rope, and then he pulls him back in there and puts him in the cross arm breaker. Obviously setting up for Rey Mysterio to go get some surgery. Rey Mysterio obviously needs some surgery, so they're obviously getting him, doing an angle here to get him off TV probably. John Cena comes out there, he says, eventually you're going to have to defend that title, which is funny because he just defended it against Rey Mysterio and beat him. He's like, eventually you're going to defend the title, you're going to defend the title against me. What me and CM Punk just did, we just, added so much integrity to the title, and then you take it away by your cheap antics and coming out there and, winning it, after Punk was down, Punk was knocked out with the powerbomb. It makes Del Rio like a cheap heel. And, John Cena actually seemed angry, and, obviously that would be in his character right now because he's mad that Triple H, didn't see the foot on the rope. And I actually liked the aggression from Cena. It actually came across well in the promo. I actually liked this promo. I've been wanting to see Cena and Del Rio since last year's WrestleMania. I thought that could, actually main event the card. I thought they would have a really good dynamic. And I actually want to see that match. He kind of buried Del Rio and said you're going to eventually defend it, but I think that's kind of Del Rio's, whole role as champion. It's just kind of like, the heel champion that just barely won but doesn't really belong there. He won because he had a briefcase. But I don't want to see him be another Miz where, Jerry Lawler almost beats you and Michael Cole has to save you to keep you from winning. I want him to actually win some matches, by himself without people. Or if he wins, he doesn't lose to someone of magnitude of Jerry Lawler of, whooped that far down the card, honestly, in my eyes. But, I could see, honestly, Cena taking the title right back. I hope that doesn't happen. I kind of do, because I kind of want to see Cena Punk 3. But, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think the show got less interesting now that, Cena and Punk are kind of at least stalled in their feud here. But, we will see what happens. I'll let Del Rio, get his time to shine. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he does get his champion. I'm not going to, criticize him already or say it's the wrong move before I see more of this. So, that's my first ever Raw review. I'm Trevor Scheer. I am of the Wrestling Renaissance. I'm of the Wrestling Renaissance. I'm going to try to get some more guys on here. We had, the Mad Scientist 7990 on here before. I think it was, we take it down. I don't know why, but I'm actually on his channel. Go check that out. ROH vs. Dragon USA. Look up the Nathan Carter YT, Nathan Carter YouTube. He's bringing the Mark Out Manifesto, and I'm hoping to be on his show too. We're probably gonna have something called Wrestle House, where we actually do reviews of stuff at Waffle House. So CM Punk got a nice shout out for Waffle House, so we might do some reviews there. He's got a cool logo set up for that and stuff, so I'm actually excited for that. But yeah, let's continue to do this. So that's my first Raw review. I'm hoping to come with some Impact and SmackDown reviews. WrestleMania is going to be reviewed. WrestleMania 17 still. SummerSlam 2011, I'm going to do a review of that too, as well as Money in the Bank. Now I feel like they should both be covered. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Stay happy.